week 26 ELA W, and take you to Wednesday, where we are going to start by going over the grammar do now before we get back into our study of white balloons. And so we're working on, remember, expanding our sentences into more complex thoughts, because as we prepare to write our narrative, we want to be able to make our work interesting. So many times I think that in the ideas of like efficiency, we just say, this happens, and we don't stretch. But you remember how we use fanboys, our conjunctions to stretch sentences with but, so, because, for. We want to be doing that more and more to give the reader detail, when, where, how these questions need to be answered in order not only for us to make a compelling narrative that's interesting to the reader, but also when we want to express ourselves. Communication is so vital to your success. And look, you're never going to get what you want if you can't communicate your needs, your opinions. And so thinking now about how to construct sentences to give detail to the listener or the reader is going to be in your best interest as you grow in your use of language. So let's start now with the do now, and we're going to read through these check boxes. So we're coming back to prepositional phrases, and someone read the first checkbox. So we read a prepositional phrase is a group of words that begins with a preposition and ends with a noun or a pronoun. Here's the example. On Sunday mornings, Ashley and Mr. Peters get up early. Prepositional phrases can be used to expand sentences with additional information. Again, that's what we're always thinking of. You know how we stretch our ideas. And the third checkbox, some prepositions that are helpful with when responding to when, or after, at, in, by, from, before. And remember how I always say this. It's like, I'm tired of saying it. I'm sure you're tired of hearing it, but I would say after the tree, at the tree, in the tree, by the tree, from the tree, before the tree, during the tree, throughout the tree. Tree doesn't work so well with like throughout, but it's this word and then a noun. How many words do we usually expect to see in a prepositional phrase? Hold it up with your fingers. I see 3. That's correct. Next checkbox. When a prepositional phrase begins a sentence, a comma is needed after the prepositional phrase. That's something that we haven't focused on yet, but it's something that we're going to be looking for as you write now. Prepositional phrases, there's no rule. They can appear at the beginning of a sentence, middle or end of a sentence. However, if we use a prepositional phrase at the beginning of a sentence, it's expected that a comma will follow. So we say, if I were to say, for instance, before the show, I ate a candy bar, what would be the prepositional phrase? Okay, dojo points to whoever can answer that question, as I don't see very many hands up. Before the show, I ate a candy bar. What's the prepositional phrase? Okay, and I go here to one. One says before the show is the prepositional phrase. Very good. So, since this comes at the beginning of the sentence, what should I use grammar-wise after I say before the show? It's a comma. Very good. Excellent. And the last checkbox, if you would please read, Jessica, not a real student. A comma is not needed if the prepositional phrase appears at the end of a sentence. Right. So do not be the student who says, I had a candy bar before the show, and then throws in a comma and then a period at the end of the sentence. Commas and periods are not friends. They should not be hanging out together. Do not let them touch. No commas near periods. It's just when you use a prepositional phrase to start your sentence, which you probably will end up doing at some point. So let's look at the example, because that gives us a good sense of how this works. The girls studied. Where did the girls study? Clarice. They studied at home. Very good. And when did the girls study? And you say on Wednesday. Oh, so both of these are prepositions. So we expand the sentence to say on Wednesday the girls study at home. Why do we have a comma after Wednesday in that sentence? Because it follows the preposition. Very good. On Wednesday is a prepositional phrase. On is the preposition, Wednesday is the noun. On Wednesday, comma, we move forward. How come the second sentence does not have a comma? Talk to your partner, be able to tell us why does the second sentence not have a comma. Go. And we're back. So, why not? Raise your hand. because the prepositional phrase does not come at the beginning of the sentence, it comes at the end of the sentence. Therefore, we do not need a comma. Excellent. Turn to the next page. And now we hear some of your answers. So let's have number 1. We'll start with Jose Luis. Jose Luis, when did Rosario Dawson perform?